Abraham Lincoln, The Vampire Hunter, the video game. Could you imagine? I mean, so I just went and saw the movie. It is fabulous. This movie way exceeded my expectations. And, you know, I kept thinking throughout the whole thing that what a great video game this would make. And it has all of these elements of conflict and of, you know, different groups and everything. And then there's the whole, you know, mythology fantasy thing of vampires. And it's just, what an awesome setting. And it's in the, you know, it starts about, I think, 1818 up through the 1860s. And it's a really great time. It's like, you know, an industrial time. And so, you know, of course they have trains and stuff, but, you know, everybody's still riding horses for the most part. Some people are riding buggies. And, you know, the movie takes place in the South here. And, you know, huge oak trees and the Spanish moss hanging off of it and all kinds of stuff. And it's just, what a glorious background and everything. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if this is a game, what kind of game could it be? And it could be an RTS, real-time strategy, or it could be massive multiplayer. And with massive multiplayer, you know, and there would be like 3 races. So you'd have, well, maybe it's 4. So, you know, because in like WoW, you have all these different races. All the MMOs, you have all these different races. Okay, so you have the white people, male and female. You have the slaves, because it's all slaves back then. For the most part, there is emancipated slaves that are up north, but down south, they're all considered slaves, unless they're born of a free man. And now I don't know all my slavery history that well, and but you know, so basically we've got the white guys, we've got the slaves. And then we've got vampires, which can come in both flavors. In the movie, they don't. But in the, you know, in the whole realm of things, if you were putting all this together, they could. And what's really great is that there's all these dynamics between the different groups. And so, you know, if you have, say, a white man that is not a vampire, he has to worry about becoming a vampire, getting bitten and becoming a vampire. He doesn't want to do that. And then once he becomes a vampire, he can't attack another vampire. And so he could be a vampire hunter, but you know, if he were to get bit and converted into a vampire, he would no longer be able to hunt vampires. And so there's like this permanent dynamic with that. And then there is, okay, so let's say that you're, I don't have Tourette's, honest. It's just that, you know, I like filming outside, but the mosquitoes here are thick. And so, anyway, the slaves, they have, you know, what if they could, you know, say level up and then rise against their master, whether their master be, you know, a vampire or not, and then maybe kill the master, or, you know, do something to break free to become, you know, a free man. And then, though, you have the double whammy there, where then, as a free man, you still have to worry about the vampires maybe converting you into a vampire. And so, you know, I just thought about all these dynamics and stuff and how great of a game this would be. The movie is awesome. If you haven't seen the movie, you should go see it. I mean, Abraham Lincoln, he kicks ass. You know, it's a pretty amazing movie, and it really exceeded my expectations. And I could totally see, you know, some of the weaponry that they had in the movie and stuff. You know, it's totally stuff that you could see in an MMO. And just awesome. And some of the moves that they do in here, you know, it's very Matrix or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of stuff. And but it all just really is flows very well together, and everything. And now I know that the whole issue of slavery, I don't think there's ever been a game that I know of that deals with the issue of slavery. And so Abraham Lincoln, of course, is famous for freeing or the Emancipation Proclamation, and basically making all slaves free. And so, that is part of the whole game dynamic, and maybe the whole thing could take place just right as that happens, and right as they're set free. There's still vampires to battle. There's still, there's still the white people who believe that they should be able to own slaves, and then there's still, there's the white people who say no, that every man should be free, every man has rights, and everything. And it could be a really interesting dynamic. Now, I know though that has got to be hellaciously politically charged, and I could totally see issues of prejudice, racial prejudice in the game, and there could be gangs of white people that want to go out and attack and PK black people or slaves in the game, and it could be the opposite too. And so I think that maybe that fact alone would keep game companies from even considering something like this. But maybe somebody could take a chance on that. And it certainly would be unique, and it certainly would add is this a political thing, or this is more of a human rights thing and politics, and it certainly would add a twist like that to it. But it would certainly be unique. And we've had in different games before, we've had oppressed races, and but they weren't modeled after something that is so real. So what could be so politically charged or so just personally charged. And I suppose that I could equate it to a game of World War II, to where there were one of the playable races would be Jews, or they actually, the Nazis didn't. It wasn't just Jews that they were against. It was non-Aryan, and it was. Jews were probably the biggest group, but it was also homosexuals, and it was there were some other groups in there, and I don't know my history well enough. I know just a little bit, so I'm not going to just speak on stuff that I don't know, because in something like this, it's very important for me to keep my facts straight, because I'm not racist myself, and I'm certainly not trying to tick anybody off with this conversation. But I just found it very fascinating, and what if we did a World War II scenario, and we had the Americans, we had, the Europeans, all the different European states, and all the people that were, in the Holocaust as one of the groups, one of the playable races. And it's so charged, though, that I'm not sure they would find any funding. Or if they did, they would find funding from groups that want to raise awareness, but at the same time, it might tone the whole thing down, and you really need heavy conflict. And, without heavy conflict, it gets boring, in my opinion. So, and what if Hitler was actually a vampire? Kind of like, in the whole Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter thing. So, because there were a lot of prominent vampires in the movie. So, anyway, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I really recommend it. What a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. It grabbed me right at the beginning, and it just held me all the way through, and it wrapped it up really nicely. What a great story, and what a case of alternate history. So, we know that Abraham wasn't really a vampire, or vampire hunter, but what if? I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.